There is nothing impossible to him who will try. I was not born to follow, I was born to conquer. To hesitate is to die, to doubt is to kneel, and I was not made to bow. Fortune does not favor the cautious. It belongs to those who seize it with both hands. My empire was not given. It was taken battle by battle, as all great things are. Upon the conduct of each depends the fate of all. A leader's strength is the strength of his army. I did not fear an army of lions led by a sheep, but an army of sheep led by a lion. That force will shake the earth. The weak stand in the shadow of history, while the strong seize the chisel and carve their legacy into stone. And even now, centuries later, my name is not whispered, it is roared.
You've been told to be strong, to lead, to conquer. The world applauds ambition, celebrates domination, and calls it greatness. But no one warns you of the cost. Alexander didn't become king by waiting. He seized, he ruled, he made history bow. But power, real power, is not just taken, it consumes. And the more you grasp, the more it asks from you. Blood, sleep, soul. The conqueror becomes the conquest. You hear phrases like fortune favors the bold or lead like a lion. They're carved into locker room walls and Instagram captions. But none of them ask, what happens after the empire is built? Who do you become when there's no one left to defeat? People admire lions, but forget they hunt alone. You chase greatness like it's salvation. But if your worth is built entirely on victory, then peace becomes your enemy. Rest feels like death. Stillness becomes shame. And soon, you're not leading from strength, you're running from silence. Alexander's truth wasn't carved in marble. It's buried in exhaustion. He won every battle except the one inside. And here's the hard part. You might win everything the world told you to want and still feel hollow. Because the game was rigged, not against your strength, but against your soul. We glorify ambition, but we rarely ask what it's compensating for. Is it confidence or a fear of being ordinary? Is it hunger or is it emptiness? Some men rise because they believe in something greater. Others rise because falling would mean facing themselves. The world doesn't need more kings. It needs fewer men lying to themselves about why they want to rule. So ask yourself, would you still chase glory if no one ever saw it? Or are you just trying to outrun the parts of you you're too afraid to meet? This is the quiet truth ambition won't tell you. You can build an empire so large that no one else can enter, and in doing so, accidentally exile yourself. Glory isn't the reward, it's the bait. And if you're not careful, it becomes the prison too.
You will be forgotten. So will your triumphs, your tears, your name. Time erases all. So why crave their applause? Why shrink before their scorn? You have a job to do, so finish it. Not for them, not for legacy, but because it is yours. Drag yourself if you must. Crawl through fire if that's the cost. Just don't stop. There is nothing impossible to him who will try. Let the world watch or turn away. Your path isn't theirs to understand. And if the weight of the world shatters you, shatter like art.
So now we confront the truth no one markets. You will be forgotten. Not immediately, not dramatically, just slowly, quietly, like everything else time touches. The applause will fade, the spotlight will dim, the stories will blur, and eventually your name will vanish from the lips of even those who once loved you. And still, people chase legacy like it's oxygen. Why? Because they're afraid. Afraid that without being remembered, they never mattered. That if no one witnesses their struggle, it was meaningless. But here, the problem, legacy is not a promise, it's a seduction. The world tells you to make your mark. But on what? A planet that's been here billions of years before you, among billions of others, all scratching at the same illusion. The truth is this: you don't need to be remembered. You need to remember who you are. You weren't put here to impress the crowd. You were put here to finish the work only you can do. Forget applause. It's cheap, fleeting, built on the whims of people who barely understand themselves, let alone you. What matters is whether you did the thing, whether you showed up again and again when no one clapped, no one watched, and no one cared. Because that's when it's real. You see, most people don't want purpose. They want praise. They chase impact, but secretly crave attention. But attention is a mirror made of smoke. You think you see yourself, but it's all distortion. Legacy won't save you. It won't soothe you. It won't be there at 2 a.m. when the weight gets heavy and your lungs feel like they're burning from the inside out. You need something deeper. And that something is ownership, not over others, but over your path. The kind of ownership that doesn't flinch under rejection, that doesn't fold under shame, that doesn't ask permission to exist. Because if the world doesn't understand your path, good, it's not theirs. Let them mock, let them turn away, let the crowd lose interest. Their gaze was never the point. What's at stake here isn't legacy, it's your life. You can spend it begging for recognition, or you can spend it building something no one else can take from you, your truth. So let the world forget. Finish the job anyway.
I'm alone. There is nothing impossible to him who will try, but who remains when the battle ends. I have conquered the world, yet failed to conquer my own soul. When I wept for more worlds to conquer, it was not for glory, it was for purpose. A tomb now holds Hephaestion, my other self. The gods gave me everything but rest. Each victory leaves me emptier, each city taken, another wall between myself and men. Remember, an army of sheep led by a lion can defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. But what becomes of the lion when there are no more wars to fight? I am the son of Zeus, yet I fear I shall die a stranger to peace. I do not steal victory, it is my burden. But tell me, who shares the burden of a king who has walked beyond the horizon only to find no equal, no friend, no home? I am a shadow dragging a crown through the void. So even gods must weep when they find no one left to worship them.
Victory feels like the end, but for some, it's just where the suffering begins. You've heard it before: I conquered the world but failed to conquer myself. That isn't poetry, that's confession. We glamorize greatness, but we rarely talk about what happens once it's achieved. What happens after the cheers? What happens when there's no one left to beat? Emptiness. Alexander wept, not because there were no more lands, but because conquest had become his only language. He didn't crave new worlds. He feared the silence without them. When your identity is built on winning, peace becomes unbearable. You think you want success, but are you sure? Because success doesn't fill you, it exposes you. It removes the distractions, the chase, the noise, and suddenly you're left alone with yourself. Most people can't handle that. That's why they keep moving, keep climbing, keep fighting. Not because they love the battle, but because they fear the stillness after. Look at the world. CEOs who sabotage their own companies, artists who burn out on their own genius, leaders who start wars they don't need just to feel alive again. Victory doesn't give you purpose. It only amplifies what's already there. And if there's nothing there, you will drown in your own throne. So here's the deeper question: who are you without the war? If you strip away the goals, the striving, the proving, do you even recognize what's left? This is the part no one teaches you. Peace is harder than conquest. Peace requires self-knowledge, surrender, vulnerability, things warriors are trained to avoid. But without them, you're just a weapon looking for a target, even if that target is yourself. And the deeper truth, the higher you rise, the lonelier it gets. Because power isolates, people stop being honest, trust fractures, every conversation becomes a transaction, every connection a calculation. So you keep going, keep building, keep chasing, until eventually you're not leading an empire, you're dragging a crown through the void. That's the curse of those who win at all costs. They get exactly what they wanted and realize too late that it wasn't enough. So ask yourself before you climb, are you seeking victory or are you running from the silence? Because if you can't make peace with yourself now, no amount of triumph will save you later.
I would rather live a short life of glory than a long one of obscurity. We are not here to live forever, but to leave behind something that will. A warrior does not fear death. He fears being forgotten. Even in the darkest moment, a man of ambition must find his way to the light.
I would rather live a short life of glory than a long one of obscurity. It sounds noble, but most people say it with their mouths, while their actions betray something else entirely. Everyone wants to be remembered. Few are willing to be uncomfortable. And here's the split that defines everything. You can chase glory, or you can chase comfort. But you cannot chase both. Glory demands sacrifice, discipline, risk. Comfort demands safety, stability, control. One pulls you into the fire, the other tucks you under warm blankets and whispers, tomorrow. The world quietly trains you to choose comfort. They wrap it in the language of balance, self-care, practicality. And none of those things are bad until they become the excuse for why you never tried. Comfort becomes a religion, a false god, and its promise is intoxicating. If you stay here, if you don't stretch, don't bleed, don't rise, nothing can hurt you. But nothing can change you either. Glory, on the other hand, is merciless. It doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't wait until you're ready. It moves with or without you. And the price is always the same. Pain now, meaning later. Ask yourself, do you want to feel good or do you want to live full? The warrior doesn't fear death. He fears insignificance. Not because he needs applause, but because he knows this life is brief, brutal, and beautiful, and to waste it hiding is a betrayal of everything sacred inside him. That's the shift. Glory is not about being remembered. It's about being used up completely. It's about knowing you did not come here to watch, to mimic, to coast. You came to burn bright, even if it shortens the fuse. So no, you're not here to live forever. But you are here to leave something that does. And that something might not be a statue or a name in a book. It might be a soul that never gave up, a truth that cut through the fog, a life lived so honestly it echoed into others long after your breath stopped. But none of that happens if you hide behind comfort. The path is clear, but the price is high. You will lose sleep. You will lose people. You will lose the version of yourself that thought easy was ever the goal. But what you gain is your real name. The one no one gave you. The one you earn. So choose. Warmth or fire. Comfort or glory. Existence or impact. Just don't pretend you can have both. Because deep down, you already know. You weren't made to last. You were made to matter. So now you've heard it all. The roar of conquest. The silence after victory. The illusion of legacy. And the choice between comfort and glory. Each one echoes with the same question, one that can't be escaped, only answered. What will you do with your one, brutal, beautiful life? Most people will wait. Wait for approval. Wait for confidence. Wait until the risk is gone, the pain is gone, the fear is gone. And then they'll die waiting. But not you. Because if you've made it this far, you already know something they don't. This isn't about being ready. This is about being willing. Willing to be misunderstood. Willing to break before you're built. willing to lose what was never yours to keep in order to become what you were always meant to be. The world will try to tame you, to dress you up in mediocrity and call it wisdom, to sedate your hunger and label it balance, to sell you a life of should-haves and maybes until you forget that you were ever on fire. But fire doesn't forget. You don't need more time. You don't need more plans. You don't need more people to believe in you. You need a mirror. You need a promise. And you need to make the hardest, clearest choice of your life. Will you die as a shadow or live as a flame? Because no one is coming to crown you. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is coming to tell you that now is the moment. This is the moment. Right here. Right now. With everything still uncertain. With the fear still clawing at your ribs. With no map, no guarantees, and no second draft. This is where it begins. Not when it's easy. Not when it's safe. But when it's yours. So burn the blueprint. Bury the lie. And begin the work. Not for applause. Not for legacy. But because this life is not a rehearsal. And the flame does not wait. Let the world tremble. You're not here to be remembered. You're here to be undeniable.